Alright, so I'm going to show how to replace the battery on this 13-inch MacBook Pro model A1502 early 2015. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is get a pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screwdriver and remove all the screws from the outside. Alright, you want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. And the way you do that is you put the flat side down in the pattern, remove it, so it's in this rectangular pattern. That's how you put them. Alright, just put them on your desk in that pattern. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and remove all the screws. The back two screws in the center where the hinge are the shortest, so keep that in mind. If you do somehow mix them up, that those shorter screws go in the back. Alright, anyways, hopefully this video will help you guys. If it does, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel so that others can work on their devices as well. Alright, if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider throwing a little my way. Every little bit helps. Alright, I do these computer repairs for a living, but as I show more people how to fix these, I actually lose business. So hopefully I can continue to do this for a living, and the few repairs that I lose from my actual work, hopefully that will translate into helping a bunch more people on YouTube, which will in turn equal to about the same amount of pay, if not even a little more would be nice. But yeah, alright, let's go ahead and remove the cover. So once you get all the screws, go to the back and then go ahead and pop this up. Alright, there are clips as you heard, so it does click like that. You can see it's pretty dusty here, so I'm actually going to clean this up. I'm going to use a toothbrush, remove the loose dust with the toothbrush, and then use an air blower to blow the dust away. So I'll do that and I will be back. Alright, see you guys in a bit. Alright, I'm back. So I cleaned it up. Okay. Some of the stuff is stuck on there and wouldn't come out, so just left it, but cleaned out most of the dust that would come out easily. Alright, let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. Let's zoom in so you can see here. So the battery connects right here, and we want to actually disconnect the piece here. So normally I would do this while it's on the desk, but to make this visible, I'm working on it like that. So we're going to pull this connector up like that. Okay, use what you can to do it. I just use my fingernails. Again, it's hard to do it while it's standing up like this, so I'm actually going to put this down on the desk. All right, so basically you're going to pull that connector like that and pop it out. Sometimes it helps to kind of wiggle it, but just wiggle and pull it. There we go. All right, next thing we're going to do, let's zoom out here. Oops, way too far. We're gonna peel this sticker off here. You want to slowly peel this off. You don't really need this sticker, but it's nice to have to transfer it over. Okay, so we're gonna set this aside. Then what we're gonna do is open up the computer. Again, make sure you disconnected this. And then we're gonna press and hold the power button for 10 to 15 seconds. It's actually good if you want to make sure to shut down your Mac first. I didn't mention that, but I assume most people know to turn their computer off before opening it up. Hopefully most people will know that. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and switch to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. Okay, and what we're going to do, we're going to have to disconnect the trackpad cable here, and then we're going to move these speakers out as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove the two screws here holding the trackpad bracket. Okay. Alright, once we remove those two screws, then we can go ahead and lift that metal piece out of the way, just like this. Alright, and then we're going to disconnect the trackpad cable. I just get underneath with my fingernails and then kind of at each corner, one on the upper left and then one on the lower right, kind of wiggle and pull it up like that. There we go, we got that disconnected. You want to try and keep this cable flat. You don't want to bend it too much. So I try and get as close to the adhesive as I can, pulling this direction while also peeling up. Then we're going to hold our finger over here, so that way when the adhesive comes off completely, it's not just going to fly out and rip the cable out. Okay, so just like this. There we go. Alright, now what we're going to do, we're going to unlatch the cable. Let me zoom in and show this. So you want to move this flap out of the way. Okay. Then when you got that, there's this little latch here. I use my fingernail to lift that up. Right, now that we got that latch out of the way, we're going to go ahead and kind of pull and wiggle this back. There is some adhesive underneath the cable holding this here. Oops, sorry, holding it there. So that's why it's kind of difficult to pull this cable back. So we got that cable out. Let's go ahead and set that aside. Let's zoom back out here. All right, now we're going to remove the speakers. We don't have to completely take this speaker out. Like we don't have to disconnect the cable, but we're gonna go ahead and undo the 3 screws here. Okay, again, keep all these screws in order. They are different size, shape, and lengths. Okay, just get all 3 out. Alright, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift the speaker up. Usually this side of the speaker, actually not on this one. Okay, the speaker looks okay. On some models, the speaker on the side here is actually really dirty, and it clogs the vent. This one's a little dusty. You can brush it off if you want, but it's not really an issue, okay? But we're just taking that out so we can move the speaker out of the way here. The one on the right side, because this cable is much shorter, we're actually going to remove the speaker completely. So let's go ahead and take these 3 screws out as well. Okay. I'm not going to do a complete disassembly on this video. I have videos for that. And it's not as common of a thing that I do, so yeah. Alright, but if you're curious, the SSD is replaceable, but the RAM isn't, CPU isn't. Wireless card you can replace, everything else is basically on the motherboard. Alright, so now that we got those 3 screws out, let me zoom in to make this a little bit easier to see. Oops. Okay, same as the other one, you lift the speaker up like that, and then you can kind of swing it out. The cable is caught underneath here, so you have to kind of work it out over to the side, just like that. All right, and then once you do that, you want to get your fingernail or a plastic pry tool as far underneath this connector as possible. Let me actually zoom in to try and show this if I can. Okay, so connectors right here. So I use my fingernail just because it's long enough to go underneath. You can use also like a little plastic tool to just get underneath and twist it and pop it out. But what I do is I get my fingernail as close as I can to the back of this connector here, and then I just pop it up like this, one corner like that. Okay, so the way this works is if you look at this this plastic piece here, the plastic that starts here, it's a little bit further inside. So when I get my fingernail, it actually goes underneath the connector there, and then I pop that up. Okay, so it goes under and then it pops up the back of this plastic connector. So that's how you remove that without damaging those. I've seen people try and just rip them out, or they'll try and like pry it from the cables and then they damage the connectors. You want to get something that goes underneath to the very edge of this plastic piece and then pop it up just like that. Alright, so now that we got everything out of the way that we need to, we're going to go ahead and start working on the battery. Okay, so the battery actually has a screw that's holding it in place, or at least not really holding the battery in place, but holding this battery BMS board in place. So we're going to remove that one screw. Okay, again, keep all the screws in order. Once you got that screw, you'll notice that if you lift this, it can go up and down. All right. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is go ahead and scrape the battery out. Basically, we're going to be cutting the foam adhesive that's holding the battery in place. So the way you do this, the reason we took these speakers out of the way is so that we can actually get underneath the speaker. You can either go this way or this way on this battery pack, on the small one. Okay, so on this tool I use, it has a slight bend in it. And it actually is curved like this, so you want to make sure the curve is facing down, not up like this, because you don't want it to scrape underneath the battery. Okay, so that's very important. All right, so let's go ahead and get this battery out just like this, cutting up the adhesive underneath the battery pack. Okay, so here you can see this battery pack is loose. Now we're going to go ahead and do this side. It's really hard to go from this side, so usually I will go from the side here, and we'll do the same thing. Okay, all right, just like that, and just work your way over down the line. All right, you can kind of pull the speaker out and move it over more if you want. Okay, and we're just going to keep working our way over. Okay, so this is like a thin spatula. You can actually get a spatula that's similar to this, but it's not as thin. And if you need a link for that, I can actually send you one. Just post a comment in the comment section below. All right, there we go. So we got those two parts up. We're gonna switch over to the other side and basically do the same thing. Okay, scrape the tool, get the tool under this small pack. Okay, just like that, and then work your way over to the other side. All right, just like that. All right, now that we got that, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing. cut the adhesive this way. Okay. Okay, and you want to cut the adhesive by pushing. You don't want to actually slide the tool over sideways like this, because if you do that, there's a good chance you'll cut through the this plasticky stuff that's on the outside of the battery, and then you'll actually puncture it and it'll leak toxic fumes out. So you don't want that to happen. All right. So we're gonna keep going down. You also want to be careful with these cables here. You don't want to be like flopping these things all over the place, okay? Because that can be a little dangerous. Okay, so once you get everything cut out, you can actually check by just like sliding the tool. It should easily slide over, but here you can see we can lift this out. Okay, so now for the center packs, they're a little bit trickier because they're not completely flat down to the rest of the aluminum housing. It's actually raised slightly, so let me see if I can show you this. So if I lift this up this way and hold these battery packs out of the way, then you can actually see that there's this metal aluminum part raised. So what we're going to do is we have to get the tool slightly above that, okay? So just like this up here, okay? And then we're going to do the same thing, just pushing the tool through to cut it, okay? The only other tricky thing is these packs are slightly in the way, so you kind of have to like get them out of the way as you do this, okay? And then the other thing is you don't want to go up this way, because if you're cutting this, you might accidentally hit the keyboard connector here, all right? So that's very risky, and you don't want to go this way because then you might accidentally damage the trackpad there, okay? So that's very important, keep that in mind. And let's go ahead and continue cutting through this battery adhesive, okay? Just like this. Again, you want to hold these battery packs out of the way, okay? And just cut this through, okay, just like that. So here you can see once it reaches through the middle here, you want to pull the tool back out and then just continue doing the same thing all the way down to the rest of the battery, okay? Like this, slowly working your way over. Okay. All right, again, you want to be careful not to hit the trackpad, so be very careful and gentle here. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and keep working our way back over here. Make sure that we got all of it. Okay. The last part up here is a little tricky. You kind of have to do it slightly at an angle. Okay, just to cut up this way. And then this side you can actually end up just prying this up just like this. Okay, there we go. But let's go ahead and do the other side as well. Okay, just like this, get underneath, move these packs out of the way. Okay, let's go ahead and cut this. There we go. It helps to pull this with your fingers, and then I like to push on that. Okay, just like that. And we'll keep working our way over. I'm surprised actually the adhesive in the center here is actually cutting a lot easier for some reason. Okay, that might be a bad thing because sometimes the adhesive, when you have to peel it up off the metal frame, it's going to be a pain. So let's see. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, again, you want to be careful not to hit the keyboard cable. So there we go. We got all of the adhesive cut out. Let's go ahead and lift this out. Okay, you want to peel the speaker cable off away from the battery, and then slowly lift this out just like this. All right, so here you see, this is what the back side of the battery looks like. All the adhesive is all cut up. So we're gonna set that aside. All right, now we gotta peel off all this old adhesive. So it helps to use a plastic razor blade like this. So I kind of just use this tool to kind of scrape up a little bit of it. can also use fingernails for this. Once you get a piece of it going, then hopefully we can, yep, there you go, just peel that off. In some cases the adhesive is like crumbly and then you can't do it this way, and you basically have to just scrape off all of it, and it leaves behind all this gross residue, and that residue stops the other battery from sticking. So if that happens, you're gonna have to make sure to clean all this residue off. So either way, there's gonna be residue to clean up, but when the adhesive is peelable like this, then it prevents a lot of the adhesive from staying stuck on the aluminum. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue peeling up the adhesive. Okay, the trackpad is under here, so if for some reason you need to replace that, here you can see these screws for the trackpad. You would take all these little screws out. I believe those are T3, they're not T5. Let me double check. Yeah, those are T3 screws. So if for some reason you needed to remove the trackpad, keep that in mind, those are T3 screws. Okay. There we go. Just keep peeling off all this adhesive. All right, just like that. Okay, peel that up. Okay, let's go ahead and peel this up. Man, part of this is stuck on there pretty good. There we go. Come on. There we go. All right, we're getting there. Last piece, and then we clean up the adhesive residue. Okay, there we go. All right, to clean up the adhesive residue, I use rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol. I use 91%. You can use whatever you got. All right, even the lower percentages will work. It might just be a little bit more difficult to get it out. So what I do is I get the rubbing alcohol in there, just like that. And then I take my little scrapey tool and just scrape the adhesive residue out. As you can see, it kind of turns into a goopy gobbledygook. All right, so just keep doing that and scraping out all this adhesive residue. Okay, just like that. Okay, be careful with the serial number stickers there. You don't want to get the stuff on there, and then the adhesive will come out from the serial number sticker. Sometimes this can also dissolve some of the paint that's on the Mac, so be careful. Okay, there we go. So here you can see most of the residue is gone. I'm just going to keep scraping this up to be all in one pile. go. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the paper towel here, all right? Clean that off, wipe that up, and wipe up that sticky residue. Okay. There's always going to be a little bit left, but don't worry, we're going to clean that up with a paper towel and some rubbing alcohol later. So you can go ahead and try and rub as much of it off as you can, just to clean it up. All right. On the trackpad, you want to be careful because you don't want to get it to go into the screw holes, and then if that happens, it will start leaking into the trackpad. All right. So one thing that helps, you can actually, as you can see the way I'm rubbing it, the paper towel is sticking to it. So what you want is you do this, and that will get the dry paper towel stuck to the adhesive. So that way when you put the rubbing alcohol, it will kind of absorb into that and it will stay on the adhesive, okay? So just like that, okay? Once you get the thing all covered with that, you're gonna use your rubbing alcohol. If you have a bottle, just pour it on it, but I'm using a spray bottle, so I'm just spraying the rubbing alcohol in there till it's wet. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and wipe the adhesive there. Just like that. Okay, and then just keep rubbing it. There you go, here you see it's all coming out. All right, just like that. Just keep working at it. It'll eventually all wipe off, but it does take quite a bit of effort. If you want, you can go ahead and let's get another paper towel. All right, and get one with a lot more rubbing alcohol in it. Okay, and then just continue doing that. You can try doing the scrapey method like before, but you want to be careful because you don't want the rubbing alcohol to go into the trackpad. That's why I do it this way with the trackpad with just the paper towel. Okay. If it's really having a hard time coming up, you can, after wetting it, you can use the scrapey tool and try and scrape it off. So you can see it comes off a lot easier once it gets the rubbing alcohol in it. Okay. This one's still stuck a bit. Go. All right, so we got most of that out. We're gonna get the paper towel again. New one, get some new rubbing alcohol in it so it's not absorbed with all that sticky gunk. All right, and let's go ahead and wipe this off. Okay, and just wipe up all this mess. Oops, I'm still stuck up here. Here you can see the keyboard cable I was referring to. If you weren't careful, you might cut that, and replacing the keyboard cable on these is a real pain, or not the cable, but replacing the keyboard on these is a real pain. So that's why it's very important that you do it the right way. All right, let's go ahead and spray some more rubbing alcohol in here. All right, same thing. Let's just get the rubbing alcohol all into the adhesive goop. And scrape it up. All right, scrape up all the adhesive residue. Oops, sorry. Okay, scrape it all up. Okay, you can see once that residue is gone, let's go ahead and wipe the blade. All right, I'm gonna use the inside of this to wipe up the adhesive residue. Then we can go ahead and wipe up the rest of the adhesive that's still stuck there. Okay. Just keep working at it and it'll all eventually clean off. Go. Let's flip this over to a clean side. Add some more rubbing alcohol. Let's clean this off one last time to make sure all the residue is gone. Just like that. Won't be 100% perfect, but just get it to where it's pretty clean and you don't see the residue that's like thick. Okay, there we go. You can kind of see it looks a little bit gross there. You can go ahead and get a dry paper towel and kind of clean it a little bit. And then we'll use a little bit more rubbing alcohol. Right? And we'll clean this off again. You won't be able to get it all off. As you can see, this residue is still here. But it's more just like cloudy stuff now. It's not actually like the adhesive, all right? So once you get all of that off, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and grab the replacement battery. Okay, the replacement battery actually already has the plastic cover on top, so we're not gonna need the old one. We're gonna peel this blue part off, all right, just like this. Set that aside, and then we're gonna slowly lower this. You want these little circle pieces to go onto these raised metal aluminum parts. Okay, just like that, and then slowly lower it down. Make sure this screw hole lines up. Okay, there we go. Once you get everything lined up, you can slowly drop the adhesive down and push it into place. So something is stuck under here, it doesn't want to go down. Oh, okay, it's hitting the top here. All right, so be careful with that. All right, get all of that into place. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and get these speakers in. All right, same way we removed it at that angle. Okay, drop that into place. There we go. Get the connector, line it up, and push that into place. So there we go. Get the other speaker. Same thing, you can stick that onto where it was before. Get that over in there and drop that into place. All right, we're gonna peel off this clear adhesive layer. All right, so to peel this up, you want to kind of roll it back like this. All right, you don't want to pull it straight up. You want to roll it back so that way it doesn't undo the layers that are inside the battery. Okay, so rolling it off just like that. There we go. Okay, now we can go ahead and put back the screws in the speakers. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the 3 screws on the left speaker. Usually what I like to do is I like to loosely put the screws first, just like this. Right, then we're gonna tighten them all down once we got all 3 in. Just like that. All right, same thing with the speaker on the other side. Loosely fit the screws. Okay, just like this. Oops. The screw didn't go in right. Come on, where's the screw mount? Slightly over to the right. Okay. There we go. And the last screw. Okay, tighten them all into place. All right, don't forget the screw for the battery connector here. All right, and then we'll get the trackpad cable. So this cable can be a little bit tricky because of the adhesive here. If you want, you can actually dirty up this adhesive so it doesn't stick so much. But the way you do this is you kind of have to hold it up at an angle like this, okay? And then try and get it in at that angle, right? And push that in. Once you get that in all the way, you can slide your finger down the latch to flop it down. You will see some of the gold of the cable exposed. That's normal. All right, let's go ahead and get this cable. Then we're gonna plug this part of the trackpad cable into place. I like to keep my finger under here to keep it from sticking until I have it connected properly. Okay, once you get that trackpad cable connected down, all right, then I like to go ahead and push from the middle here to kind of evenly distribute part of the bend here and part of the bend there. All right, there we go. Okay, so now that we got that, let's go ahead and put the metal cover back on for the trackpad cable and then this board cable. Again, using the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. Okay. Those lined up and tighten it down. There we go. And then we just have to reconnect the battery. So the battery connector right here, you want to try and get one corner in first. Once you get one corner in, you can go ahead and work your way over to the rest of it, just like this. All right. Okay. Oh, it's kind of being a pain. Let's see. There we go. All right. Oops, sorry, I went out of view. There we go. All right, and then we're going to put the cover back on. So this cover just goes on top and clicks into place. Let's zoom out. Oops, too much. All right, next thing you want to do is a PRAM and SMC reset. So open up the computer. To do the SMC reset, you do Control-Option-Shift on the left side and then the power button. If you have the charger plugged in, the charge light, if it's orange, it'll go green and then it'll go back to orange. If it's already green, then you won't really see a change, but yeah, you can drain the battery and then do that later just to be sure. All right, so now that we've done the SMC reset, we're going to do the PRAM reset. So press the power button, and then after you hear the chime, you're going to do Command-Option-P&R. All right, if there's no chime, then you're going to want to restart the computer. All right, well, do it this way. So if you restart the computer, you can press and hold this and you can keep holding it. So you heard the chime, you'll hear a second chime. But if you keep holding this right after pressing the power button, once you hear 2 chimes, you can go ahead and let go and you know you did a PRAM reset. All right, so there we go. I'm gonna put the clear plastic onto the old battery here. Okay, just to keep it together. I don't know if the customer will want their old battery back. Sometimes they want it, so I will just package this up and hand that to them. And there we go. The computer started up and we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and put the screws back in using the Pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screwdriver. But that's pretty much all there is to this. So hopefully this video helped you guys. Again, if it did, please like, subscribe, share my channel with others. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. You're welcome to stay as I put back the rest of the screws. But other than that, this repair was successful. All right. All right, they were actually missing the 2 bottom corner screws. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people with MacBooks where their screws are just missing. Apparently the screws just fall out on their own. It's kind of weird. But yeah. Alright. That's the last screw. And I'll see you all next time. Alright. Thanks for watching. Bye. Drop this.